to talk about the question who listens and who watches. So who is your audience of your projects? And I will start from behind, so with Mélanie Rouiller. As we saw that this project had several stages, 5 museums and social media, and Belluar Festival, which is more an art public maybe. So I can imagine it was very different to bring all these different audience under one umbrella in this project. What was your experience?
Yeah, I think traditional newspapers, the press, help us to reach this goal, and we also the present on the social media is mainly for young people, or not so young, but you know. And this, sometimes we decided to show the picture of social media on the museum. And it's a good way to bring young people on the museum. Also, we work with 5 or 6 museums, and each museum have a different public, and they are interested on their own tradition, but sometimes they cross the public's come another museum.
So that was a success that you did manage that. Yeah. Okay. So to the Museum d'Aquitaine, I wondered did you with this project, Vous, voyez, gain a new public for your museum? Do you think that the ties that you build up for this project will be strong and be also for new projects, or for you gain a new audience through this project?
Speak French? Yes, thank you. Alors, en termes d'audience, gagner de l'audience, gagner de la fréquentation, sans doute, mais de manière très marginale, avec de tels projets, très très marginale. Moi, je crois que ce qui nous importe, et on mène des projets comme celui-ci, on en mène au moins 1, 2, 3 parfois chaque année. Ça peut être avec une maison d'arrêt, ça peut être avec des jeunes d'un centre social dans la banlieue de Bordeaux. On a comme ça, en ce moment, avec des réfugiés, on a quantité de petits projets comme ça qui viennent chaque année. Et donc, encore une fois, la fréquentation, la nouvelle fréquentation reste très marginale, mais moi, ce qui m'importe, c'est que les personnes qui ont participé au projet deviennent familières du lieu. Et qu'avec elles, c'est toute la famille qu'elles embarquent, les amis. Et donc voilà, on est un musée, j'aurais pu vous apporter une photo, c'est un énorme bâtiment en plein centre-ville, une vieille université de la fin du 19e siècle, très impressionnante, avec une porte très lourde à pousser, vraiment très lourde physiquement. Et donc voilà, au moins cette porte elle est franchie. On a des visages, on n'est plus le musée d'Aquitaine, la station de tram, on est Katia, on est Michel le graphiste, on est Philippe le médiateur, voilà. Et je crois que pour ces personnes-là, à chaque fois, là c'était 10 personnes, et puis tous leurs proches. Quand on a travaillé à la maison d'arrêt, en général, c'est avec 15, 20 personnes au maximum, et là aussi, l'important c'est d'avoir ce temps de restitution publique. Une exposition qui reste pas très longtemps, elle reste 1 mois, 2 mois, mais elle nous permet justement de maintenir ce lien avec ces personnes-là.
But I think it's not in case of numbers, but it's what most museums want to open up to a new public, even if it's not hundreds of new visitors, but it's very important work. I think that's a great success. The question to Winterthur, to the museum, I was interested, or I was wondering, you said the museum did a change from a city museum to a more thematic museum, and you had 70 people coming and wanting to share their experience, their stories, their work stories. And also this big space was always very full, at least on the photos. And I was wondering, can you say that it's easier to get an audience with a thematic orientation of the house than with a city museum? Is that true?
For us, yes, definitely. But that's not the point. The point is that this theme work is something that everybody deals with, and what I showed today was just the dimension of exhibition, or what we call exhibition. The other dimensions were also in this big area of this factory hall that meets the stage, where we had a lot of different activities. We had also youngster parties there in there. We had a co-working space area. We had a workshop where an old steam machine was renovated by some guys. So we tried to open up the structure of a museum, of the idea of a museum, to different groups, all gathered around the theme work. So in the center was always this theme, and I guess it worked very well.
Thank you. And I know it's not your project, but still, I was wondering, maybe you can answer the question. Do you think it was making this step outside of the museum and going in the city at the spots itself, do you think that brought a new public, another public than the museum has normally inside?
I don't know if this public also visited the museum itself, but I know because they went outside, it reached a larger public, and a public that does not always visit the museum, to this project. I'm very sure of this. But I don't know if this public also found a way to the museum. But they really went into areas that were not always easy to enter with a museum, with an exhibition, and that made it so beautiful to this project that it was, and also it connected the city with the neighborhoods around the city center, and that was really. I know for Jozefien that was something to challenge in the preparation, but during the exhibition, I'm very sure people found the way to the project that they otherwise wouldn't have visited.
Thank you. So now it's time for your questions. Do you have questions to these four people here up front? Yes, there's one question back there.
Thank you very much for all those presentations. I have a question to Winterthur. So we've seen this beautiful exhibition, how it was working in this factory hall, and so I'm wondering how much does that flow back into your main building, which is not a space, it is a space of work for the maids. But how much does that change your old house, like your manor house you have there?
I said in the total beginning that we are trying to invent ourselves in a new way. So we are really brave at the moment because we really go out and we take the risk that we are not interested in what is coming back to the old place because we might not go back anymore.
This over there.
Yeah, it's also a question about the Winterthur exhibition. I was also wondering about the practicalities. How long were you there? So people were actually spending sometimes days in the exhibition, and was it for you also? What was it important at the moment? But also, what are you taking back to maybe a new phase of your museum?
did I understand well that you asked if people were staying the whole day long?
Yeah.
Well, me, yes, but the volunteers only 3 hours. So then it's changed the shift and other came, because it's, as you saw, it was a really interactive design of the whole, and sometimes they were talking during 3 hours. So it was really hard work they did. The second question, I didn't understand very well.
Yeah, no, you said you're changing the museum and you did this as an experiment, which I really liked. But afterwards, after you've done the experiment, and apparently you're thinking of reinventing yourselves. So what did you take out of this experiment for a new museum? Or maybe you still don't know, that's also possible.
The concept of involving groups takes a lot of resources. It's really intensive, but it gives a lot to ourselves as human beings and also to the institution, because it makes connections, makes bridges. And this kind of work we will try to include in the exhibitions to come. We are now preparing something about migration and work, and it's logical that we can't define what migration is, but we want to give a voice again to people who lived it. So this is in the concept, we are going on with it, and we definitely are trying to stay in this area where we are now, because it's much more attractive. It's not a house representing the high society of the 19th century. It's a working place, and it's now embedded in an urban area that is all big houses are building now in this moment all around. And so being at the spot of the city where something new is growing fits very well with our project in the moment.
Good, we have time for one last question. Is there another question? Yes?
My name is Marloes, hello. I have a question for Katia, or actually it was raised by Katia, but I think it's a question to all of you. I much appreciated your point about, or your question on whether or not, or how to make explicit any politics in your project. I think it's a crucial question, and I was wondering that whether or not by default maybe, your relationship to some constituencies changed, or what your relationship to the government now is, by taking on a project like you did.
Jusqu'au moment où on me dira de ne pas le faire, je ferai ce que je voudrais dans ce musée. On a été éduqués, enfin moi j'ai été éduquée comme d'autres dans cette salle en lisant Jacques Hénard, et Jacques Hénard et sa provocation perpétuelle, donc ce muséologue, ancien directeur du musée d'ethnographie de Neuchâtel. D'abord il disait systématiquement, enfin il n'est pas mort, loin de là, je crois.
If you talk slowly, I can follow your French. I don't
sorry,
have any translation.
I'm really sorry, because when I begin to speak English, it's going to be very bad and very simple, very childish. Jacques Hénard, former director of the Musée d'ethnographie de Neuchâtel, he says, I remember two things. One thing is you must always say where you're talking from. D'où parles-tu? D'où parlons-nous? Qui parle? Et d'où parlons-nous? Et donc, moi, je revendique vraiment une position politique du musée dans une Europe qui se durcit, où la xénophobie et le racisme prennent une place démesurée, voilà, sont de nouveau, comme pour moi dans l'entre-deux-guerres, sont de nouveau extrêmement puissants, avec une très forte montée de l'extrême droite en France aussi. Et je pense que nous, musées, avons un rôle à jouer dans cette bataille à mener pour un mieux vivre ensemble. Enfin, nous avons un devoir d'hospitalité. C'est un mot qui m'importe beaucoup, la question de l'hospitalité. Voilà, donc tant que cette ville de Bordeaux, qui est une ville de droite, dirigée par un ancien Premier ministre français, Alain Juppé, mais tant que nos élus nous laisseront faire ce que nous voulons, nous continuerons. Ça c'est important parce que pour l'instant, je crois que nous sommes aussi leur faire-valoir social. J'en suis bien consciente. On nous demande aussi de jouer ce rôle, de jouer ce rôle sur le territoire de la ville. Et on s'en empare autant que possible.
Thank you very much. I think it's time for the change to the topic of co-creation. Thank you very much, you four. Thank you for your